Hi folks, welcome back. Sorry I missed the video last week, I just didn't feel up to it. It's not the video shooting that gets me, it's all the dang editing. Anyway, I'm here to introduce you to the next victim. This is a LiftMaster, I think it's a Seed SL. Can't look down that far. Anyway, this is a modern design. The reason I know this is an older one is the control board is green, along with the, I call it the daughter board. They call it the accessory board. That down there is green also. This was one built within the last 6 years, I guess. This would all be red or maroon. All I see right here is totally useless to my purpose. Yes, what is your purpose? This one's going to be a horizontal one. Now, this is a good one to have. It's got a 24-volt DC motor, which is important because we can then control the speed even finer and reverse it by just using one switch. It's driven by this one belt. And these are the two pieces that we need for this. That's it. I'm getting rid of all the electrics completely because I don't know how good a shape they're in. And I don't want to take a chance. And I'm replacing all of it with a pre-made transformer. Now, this actually did make 24 volts. In fact, there's a coil underneath there. But all the controls and everything were in the board, and I'm bypassing that always. So I've come up with an easy way to make it. Now this, the black box on the motor, is what tells that motor when to stop and turn if it's on a gate, like nobody ever thought it'd be on a rotator. So we don't need all that. We don't need the motherboards. We don't need these wires. I'm taking it all off. What we do need is this motor and this transmission right here. This goes pretty slow by itself. With the addition of a pot or a potentiometer onto it, we can dial it down just as fast as, or slow as we want so that it'll turn as we weld. It's also at a pretty convenient height right here. This shaft, I put these rollers under it. The holes are already there. Make it nice where you just clip them in, let it go. This is the output shaft. It looks like a 1-inch shaft. And for several weeks I've been figuring, what can I do to make this easy so somebody else can do it? And I think I've come up with the answer. Well, partly. This is a speed control you buy pre-assembled. I dropped it and chipped the edge off of this, but it's okay. It's got 4 contacts on the back, 2 in with power, 2 out to the motor. It's got an on-off switch here and also doubles as a reverse switch. And you set your speed right here. So like $23, I think. That's why for less than $100, we got a whole new power supply for this. Now these are little copper grounding, I call them grounding shoes. And this is what is going to go around the shaft of this machine to make things more stable and even easier to do. The shaft here, I'm going to put this together with a spring to hold it out here tight, and it'll run on this steel shaft. The beauty of this is it doesn't have to go through any parts of this transmission. The bearings and everything, we bypass that with this strap on the shaft. So that's a little feature I think is going to be easier to do on this one. I did the same thing on the vertical rotator, but this is easier to put in place. And these are cheap too. This machine originally came with this sprocket on the end. And it's a keyed sprocket. It fits right there. And it gave me a brainstorm. I want to put an old 6-inch chuck I have on this thing. But it doesn't have a back plate. So the last couple of videos you guys saw were this back plate being made. Well, you probably didn't see them. They bombed. When that happens, I kind of lose interest in making videos as much. But I'm back. Anyway, this is the back plate I made. And when I took it off let me put it to you this way. I was going to take this back plate and add a boss back here, then bore it to 1 inch for the key. A lot of stuff was going to happen. I thought, well, that's stupid. You got a bored keyway already, the right diameter. So while this was on the lathe, I put a little pocket there for this to fit into. And now all I have to do is weld this, and life's good. So people that don't have a lot of time or effort can make one of these. Now that brings us to today's tip. One, don't talk on the video while your saw is running, because it went off its track, started digging into this piece. If I were building this for somebody, I'd throw this away. But it's only like maybe 12–14% of the whole surface area here, and it just doesn't matter on this. It's not a high-speed chuck. If it was a high-speed chuck on a lathe, this would matter. Anyway, I've made the boss that aligns on the back, but I don't have any holes bored yet. That's what I'm going to show you how to do it. Now, this is the 6-inch vise. Almost out of Mountain Dew. This is the 6-inch vise that I've had for a while, and I want to turn it into a chuck for this horizontal. I saw these 6 holes here on the outside, and that's what aligns this piece of metal. I made it the same diameter as the internal rim there. Now I've got to do something about attaching this to the hole. I'm going to put it over the side there where this won't interfere. Where am I? Okay, I got 6 holes. How do I make a transfer of those threaded holes so I can drill them and then use one of these countersink bits for cap head screws to go down and touch it so I can screw them in? Well, on most jobs, you'd end up using a set of these. And over the years, these have been one of my most used alignment tools. They're hardened metal. And I have them all the way up into a little bit over 1 inch. And you can put it in the size of a hole. Say this is a hole here you want to put, and it's got a point on the end. You put this in your hole, take a hammer and tap it, and the metal underneath would be indented so you could drill it. My problem is I don't have a hole at these 6 locations to make this work. So what do? Well, there's lots of ways to make that hole pattern. I could put it on my Bridgeport and then make a 6-hole pattern in that. That would work cool, except my Bridgeport doesn't have all the pieces right now. I'm working on it. As soon as I get a little stronger, I can rebuild the head and put it on this thing. And then we got to scrape the table, but that's later when I get stronger. So how am I going to get these holes lined up on this side to drill it? Can't use the Bridgeport. I could put it on the lathe again and scribe a line that will define how far the center of the hole is from out of here. And then walk a set of scratchers to over here and then over here like that, and that would work. Except I'm relying on the person that put those holes there in the first place to put them correctly. If one goes in just a little bit off, this isn't going to work. So what do I do? Can't use this, can't use the protractor. What I'm going to do is pull another bag out of my, or trick out of my bag. Something I've used for years, but you hardly ever see talked about. This is my collection of center points. And this is a new one I got recently because I didn't have that size thread in my little collection. And what they do is you, excuse me. This is a 7/16 hole. In my new set I got from the little machine shop, they have assortments, and this 7/16 assortment was there. Hallelujah, I got 6 holes to point, and now have the means to point it by this going into this hole. I say this going into the hole. Man, I'm a graduate of occupational therapy. I should be able to do this. Well, dang, they may be the wrong size. So how are we going to test that? There's just another tool you guys should have in your collection. Now this one is all the way up, I think, to 3/8 fine thread, and works really good. On one side, they're threaded. On the other side, they're threaded also, but a female. So you can check a hole or whatever, go in here and thread it in. And what I said was 7/16 by 14. Let's see if I'm right. Not by 14. Seven sixteenths by 20. Sometimes it would help to just take this off of here. Oh, look, it's another size. That's going in there. You got to hold it up like that. That's the only thing. You could cut them all off, but then they're not in a good, easy to find. And That says 3/8 16. Well, it's not going to fit my 7/16 by 14. I'm going to get rid of these. This wasn't very much for this set. I forgot how much. But it has like 24 different points to it and a little tool. There's a 3/8 by 16. That worked pretty good. And basically what I'm doing is I've machined the back plate to the right size. And these little points stick up. And when I put the metal back plate on here, these will transfer the center of this hole here. And Bob's your uncle, we have all we need to drill it. Spent about, I guess it was probably about 6 or 7 weeks doing exercises with nuts and bolts. I found if my hand's resting on something, I can do things much easier. I don't have the shakes. I've now been officially discharged from the latest physical and occupational therapy sessions. Graduated. I have to show you my graduation picture. Now this one don't want to go in because it looked like maybe a sand dauber or something got in there first. This is a little tool that comes with it, and you can do what you need to do. I'm going to experiment with putting these down where only the point is sticking up. And that would work for most things. But this piece I'm using has got to sit on that registration boss. And so I can always raise these up if it's too low. Won't hurt it. This one don't want to screw down completely flush. Well, darn it. If the threads won't screw up or screw down, I need to run a tap through these. What size did I say this was? It was 3/8 by 16. Go get a tap. Now I titled this video 5 Things That Every Shop Needs. Guess I should be showing you when we go along. The number one thing that I've carried around is a tap guide. A friend of mine made this for me 35 years ago now. I had to modify it because he forgot one of the ones that I used a lot, the 3/8. But no, it's 1/2 inch. Anyway, you put this on, and then you take a tap, and you don't need it in this deal, but go in with this tap. You put it on like that, and that ensures your tap starts straight. I'm going to get rid of this. That's what I think is the number one. The second thing I think is these points. The points let you think in a different manner to be able to line things up. Because I don't know if these holes were lined up precisely or not. When I'm doing it this way, I don't care if they're precisely aligned, they're going to be what's holding this plate on. And even though they may be different, I still drill my holes where they are. Just cleaning this off. So I could take my hands off. That'll be enough. Now these are blind holes. Otherwise I'd use another tool that I thought are essential around here, and that's these pointed center. Put that in through a hole and hammer on it, and I don't see how people could get away with doing that and not having those. I think that one's good. Another thing that I think everyone should have is this type of taps. Now this is a spiral point tap. It cuts through metal like hot butter, and you don't have to sit there and do like this and then back up, do like this, then back up. This breaks the chips automatically and forces them to come through the hole you've drilled all the way through. Now, if you don't have a hole all the way through it, you change to another spiral flute. And that one would be bringing, if we were using one of those, it would be bringing any chips up out of the hole. Use it for blind holes a lot. Now, this one is putting dirt and stuff in, is just going down to the bottom of the hole. If I was cutting any metal, it would come out the top. That's another useful tool you need. Let's see if that'll work now. It's my number one tool that I think you should need. It's already been shown to you. It's these chains. These are the easiest way to go and figure out what a thread is. You don't have it mounted on a board that you got to take. If you had to, you could take this off and make a board for them all fit on and carry around, but this is the safest way. Now these are kind of limited. The limitation, try to find this again. These screws have a slot or an edge milled off of the point. So this little tool turns them like they're a screwdriver. See how fast that was? I think it needs to come up a little bit. And this one too. If we go down a little bit. So now I have 6 points sticking up that are in the center of those holes. No guessing, no worrying about other things being off. It's just right. As I was saying, these would probably be my #1 thing that I think every shop should have. They're easy, they're cheap, you can grab them. They're not the best way to do it. This is the best way to do it. This is the mother of all thread gauges. It's got almost every thread there is. Metrics are on one side of the chain. Goes up to M24/3. For all those people who use the correct kind of math, that looks like about a 7/8 to 1 inch hole. Now this one goes up high like that too. This is a 1 inch 12. So it's probably about a 7/8 on that metric side. And it goes all the way down to a 6x4. Like I say, this is a pretty good one. It's got a lot more sizes, and the metrics right with it, but it's hard to use. These little ones I have, they're easier. You don't have the whole weight of the whole chain. That's how I found what this thread was on this hook. That thread is a 6x40. I know because I looked at my chain, the big chain. Little chain didn't go down that deep. All right, sports fans. Now we're going to take our plate with this boss. I guess I should show you this too. This is steel blue spray transfer ink, or lay it out fluid. Reason I know about it, because I'm old. I'm so old I actually took drafting school. This is a very thin film. It dries very quickly. I put it on too thick. Can't control my finger that good. And cleans up with some remover they have. And this will let me see exactly where those pin marks are. Now the reason I know about all this stuff is because I'm old. And back in the early 70s and late 60s when I was learning stuff, we didn't have a computer to draw it out. I had a drafting table, but I didn't have a Bridgeport that had a touch screen DRO where I could plot and go to this. We had to use common tools like scratches, center punches, both the ones for through hole and the ones that aren't through hole. And we make do. In fact, this country more than made do for many years. I kind of like to see knowledge like this passed on. That's why I'm showing you all this. I just haven't got my spray hand back. Made it kind of stick, thick. Don't breathe this stuff and make you high. Guess you might want to watch, see what I've done. I've done screwed up. No, I didn't. This is the way it goes. Put the layout fluid here. Now all we have to do is let it dry some. It's easy to clean up, especially if you use their cleaner. There's other fluids, but I think that's enough. Okay, it looks pretty good. I want it, like I said, I want this piece that's messed up out of that field. I think that'd be about right. We'll pick up on it. Now, I don't care if this thing is a little lopsided. Because it's only going to turn maybe 1 revolution every minute. I think that's pretty good. These are the cap head screws we're going to use to hold it in there. Now I'm going to kind of twist it a little bit on the points. And then I rotated it backwards. The reason I did that, because now those little points are going to scribe an arc around the little bit of movement I made. And then when we hit it with the hammer, the dot will be there somewhere. I just have to look for the arc, and I know it's right there. Now I'll get my old musty one hammer out. When I saw him using this for everything, I was, well, that's dumb. This has been my most used hammer. It's nice. It's got a nice flat face. Works well. Yes, I know. I've got lots of ball peen hammers, or a dead blow hammer would have worked probably better than that. But I think we're going to be okay. And there we are, sports fan. I don't know if you can see it very well. But all the points have transferred. Look in the outer ring here. They've all transferred, and now I can drill them and countersink them. And this thing will be ready to put on. Well, I got to put I'm going to weld the other part on the outside. But that's what I wanted to show you today. How you can use old-timey tools to do good work. I guess they're not old-timey shoes. You can still buy these, everything, in stores. Target doesn't carry them, but you know what I mean.